I'm Miranda, one of the Teen Services librarians with the Poudre River Public Library District, and I'm here today to share with you some of the new books we've recently added to our teen collection. So the first book I'm going to share with you today is called It Came from the Sky by Chelsea Sadati. And to give you a little preview of what it's all about, I'm going to read from the first page, so no spoilers here. To whom it may concern. My name is Gideon P. Hofstadt, and this is the 100% authentic, truthful, nothing held back account of what happened this past autumn. It's the story of how extraterrestrials came to Landsberg, Pennsylvania, and the chaos that followed. There were sightings of unidentified flying objects. There were close encounters of the fourth kind. And of course, there was the incident, which you may have already heard about. It's only right to begin this manuscript by clarifying one significant detail. There were never really aliens. In the beginning, before the Seekers, before the media circus, before the promise of an extraterrestrial fountain of youth, there was only me and my brother, Gideon and Ishmael Hofstadt, ages 16 and 17 respectively. Just us in an abandoned field, and a mishap that became a lie, and a lie that became the greatest hoax the world has ever seen. So in It Came from the Sky, when one of Gideon's science experiments literally blows up in his face, he and his brother blame the resulting crater on their parents' farm on aliens. But like most lies, it soon spirals out of control, and getting in trouble with their parents is the least of their troubles. Gideon narrates his story through things like text messages, interviews, graphics, and really short chapters. So while this may seem like a pretty big book, it's actually a quick read and one that you won't be able to put down. So that is It Came from the Sky by Chelsea Sadati. The next book I'm going to share, I read as an ebook, but we have in our collection as a physical book, so you can check it out that way. And that is Running by Natalia Sylvester. So I'm sure you know that there's a big election coming up this year, and this book is the perfect read for this election season. 15-year-old Cuban-American Mara Ruiz has always looked up to her dad as kind of a hero, but when he launches a presidential campaign, she begins to realize that he's not quite the perfect person that she always thought he was. She also begins to realize that she has a voice and a platform that she can use to speak out about issues that are important to her. Inspiring and timely, this book is all about young people standing up for their beliefs and calling out injustice. So that is Running by Natalia Sylvester. Next, I'm going to share Hunted by the Sky by Tanez Bethina. First of all, look at this beautiful cover. I'm sure you've heard sometimes some people say you should never judge a book by its cover, but how could you not want to pick this up? It is so gorgeous. And it's got one of my favorite fantasy book features at the beginning, a map. I love a map in a book. So in Hunted by the Sky, Gull is forced to hide her magic and join up with a group of rebel women after a tragedy befalls her family. Elsewhere in the kingdom, Cavis is an ordinary boy who is about to join the king's army when his path crosses with Gull's, and they both begin to realize there's a lot more to both of them than meets the eye. This Own Voices fantasy draws from Indian and Persian myth and is perfect for fans of magic, mythology, adventure, and epic stories of seemingly ordinary people discovering their true powers. So that is Hunted by the Sky. Next, I want to share a couple of graphic novels that I checked out on Hoopla. The first one is an older title than some of the other ones I've been sharing today, but I wanted to include it because the series was just added to Hoopla recently, and because of the new Netflix movie that just came out a couple weeks ago. And that is, of course, the Inola Holmes series. So Inola Holmes is the younger sister of Sherlock Holmes, and while her older brother does make some appearances, these stories are all about Inola solving her own mysteries. The next graphic novel I want to share, which I also got on Hoopla, is the second in a series about the Teen Titans by Cami Garcia and Gabriel Piccolo. So this one follows Beast Boy. So Garfield Logan is a regular boy just trying to make it through high school when overnight he has a huge growth spurt, suddenly becomes faster and stronger, and can turn into animals. So I love Gabriel Piccolo's illustrations in this. They're just really eye-catching, and if you are a fan of superhero origin stories, you will definitely want to check this series out. So that is the Teen Titans series by Cami Garcia and Gabriel Piccolo. The last book I want to share with you today is My Calamity Jane. This is historical fiction with a twist. And I'm going to let the authors explain what they mean by that. Listen up, y'all. We're going to tell you the story of Calamity Jane. You might have already heard of CJ. She's one of the most famous names of the Old West. She was quite the character if you believe the stuff that was written about her in the dime store novels and newspapers of the day. They say she dressed up in breeches like a man, shooting and swearing with the best of them. That she was a Pony Express rider, a stagecoach driver, a pioneer, a scout for the U.S. Army, a spy, a showgirl, and the love interest of many a notorious gunslinger. The heroine of the plains, they like to call her, and if all this wasn't exactly true, well, it made a good story, so Jane never did try to set the record straight. Historians, for their part, claim that in reality, Calamity Jane was illiterate, foul-mouthed, a lone wolf, a wanderer, a perpetual screw-up who died alone and friendless, a tragic end after a lifetime of self-destruction. Not exactly a happily ever after. We, your faithful narrators, think Jane had a good heart and deserves a better ending, so as usual, we have a different tale to tell. Hold on to your hats, because we're going to take you back to 1876. So the books in this series by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows are always hilarious, and My Calamity Jane is no exception. Narrated by Calamity Jane, Annie Oakley, and Frank Butler, you'll learn this story will tell you everything you need to know about Wild West shows, werewolf hunting, and keep you entertained on every page. I checked it out on Overdrive, but we also have physical copies in the collection that you can check out that way. So that is all I have for you today. Make sure to check out the teen and tween pages for more book lists and other book recommendations. Tune in next week for another study tip, and thank you for watching.